We are live at Woodbine. Excited to be here. This is your Queen's Plate 2022 pregame show. I'm Dan Tordjman. She's Dawn Lupul. He's J.D. Fox. And we are here really right by the finish line. This is where all the action is going to happen. We've got a great crowd here all day long at Woodbine. Fans in full capacity back here. Incredible energy all day long. And we've seen some great racing already. We've got 3 big stakes races coming up. The King Edward, the Canadian, and of course, the Queen's Plate at 542. Dawn, you were the paddock analyst here for 10 years. You've seen a number of Queen's Plates. How excited you get on a day like today?
Oh, I mean, it's the pinnacle. It's the best of the best because the undercard is always really strong as well, right? So it's, the race itself, the Queen's Plate. I was here when the Queen was here, and that was way back in 2009, I think, was the last time she came. So it is a race with so much history, so much, there's so many great stories behind it. And yeah, you have to get excited for a big race like this, Dan. It's the pinnacle of Canadian racing happening today. It's our Kentucky Derby, really.
Absolutely. The pinnacle of fashion, by the way, is this jacket right here, which JD decided to buy after I bought. JD.
Yes, fashion a big part of Queen's Plate, and we saw a lot of people out there. So obviously me and Dan have similar tastes in where we go to buy our sport coats and also the brand we buy. But really, when we're talking about the Queen's Plate here, the big story, I think, is the fans are back. Obviously, we had limited capacity and social distancing last year after a year where, a lot of things happened and the meet was pushed back. And really, this is the first year we've got Woodbine with a full season back, and we have Woodbine really at its capacity here with a sellout crowd here for the Queen's Plate for the sections that have opened here on the track.
All right, we see people already jumping in the comments, and we keep it pretty chill here. I'm not going to lie. This is my second Stella already. JD, I think you're on your first. Dawn, you're abstaining today, right?
I'm having water. Somebody has to be responsible for this thing staying a little bit on the track.
Please look out for us. But if you're at home, wherever you are, watching on your phone, watching on your computer, feel free to indulge. If you prefer not to, then just watch the racing with us. Have a good time. We're going to hopefully make some money here. Like I said, the King Edward is the first race on top. We've got about 20 minutes before that race. Before we get into that, though, we talked about the significance of the Queen's Plate and wanted to play just a short video with the jockeys that Woodbine did, with the jockeys explaining what the Queen's Plate means to them.
It is the longest continuously run stakes race in North America. It is Canada's biggest horse race, period.
The Queen's Plate is Canadian horse racing. It is the epitome of the dedication, the hard work, and the pride that we all take as Canadians.
Coming with the runners, keep grinding. And here comes Safe Conduct to go to the front. I think Safe Conduct narrowly from Riptide rocking a photo in the Queen's Plate.
The Queen's Plate is the most biggest race in Canada, and always I'm expect to get the first place.
Well, it means everything. We're here at Woodbine. I've been so lucky to win it twice, and I'm looking forward to get another one.
Well, it means a lot to the people from Canada, and being up here, it's very special to be in it.
Oh, it means a lot. Nobody can take you that. You're gonna be on the record, on the books, right? Every time you see that, you're gonna be there. So it's a lot. I love to be here. Be part of the Queen's Plate, of the history.
I think it's a little extra special being a Canadian-born rider. I'm a fortunate enough rider to have won it, but once is never enough.
It's what every horse trainer, owner, breeder, hot walker strives to win in Canada. It's our derby, and it means so much more.
Please remain standing for a national anthem to be performed by one of Canada's fastest rising country music stars, Sasha. Welcome, Sasha.
Oh,
Oh, that was beautiful. That was a nice little way to transition into what really amounts to the heart and the meat of this card today with the King Edward Stakes. Dawn, you're the heavy hitter here when it comes to handicapping, so we're gonna get your opinion here to kick things off. What do you think?
Well, I guess we'll start about the track itself. Now, the turf course, it had been kind of dry. There was rain overnight, and it was firm before the first race today. Like both turf courses, there's an in and around an outer. Of course, King Edward on the outer turf course, the EP Taylor. It's perfect condition. We've seen a couple races on it today. It looks amazing. So looking forward to that. It's a flat mile. It's a one-turn mile. This is a 1.5-mile turf course. So, they can run for days out there. The 2-horse Filo di Ariana, I think, is going to attract a ton of play. Like this horse, he is absolutely beautiful. It'd be interesting to see what happens in terms of pace. I know, Dan, you're going to want to touch on pace a little bit because there is a potential speed duel that could develop at some point in this race. There's one way for the 6-horse Town Cruise to go, and that's to the front. He cannot win off of the pace. He's not a horse that's going to rate. So you may see those two lockheads early, and it could set it up for a closer.
Yeah, Filo di Ariana. We don't see the odds yet. And by the way, I should tell people watching, we are going to bring you these races live. So you stay with us. We'll give you the analysis. We'll tell you what we're going to bet. We'll tell you how we're going to bet. And then we're going to watch the races. Town Cruise that you mentioned, JD, I know that's a horse that you like an awful lot. But to the point that Dawn made, Town Cruise always goes to the lead. Filo di Ariana maybe doesn't need the lead. I guess that's the scenario you're hoping for, that Town Cruise gets the lead alone.
Yeah, the last time we thought Town Cruise was going to get a really soft lead, that was in the Rico Woodbine Mile last year, and that was the last time this horse ran a flat mile, and that was an easy call that I think everybody on our broadcast on ABR that day had, and we saw 18-1 going into the gate. We got 8-1 at the end. It was good, but Town Cruise obviously tried a sprint in the New York Arctic to end the 2021 campaign, came back in a stake, going 1.25 miles. I don't think either of those distances are suitable for this horse that's from a small outfit. Brandon Greer only has a couple horses, and it's a really good story when he has a runner like this off of a sire that only costs $5,000 to breed to. It's a great story that this horse has won a lot of money, over $750,000.
So right now, I'm looking at some of the odds here. Town Cruise is 9-2. We have a couple different views from around the track today. A lot of action going on, as you can tell, behind us. Also on the front side this morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, the doors opened and there were lines around the place, people trying to get in. And we'll give you a little bit of a look here at what the scene was like all day today at Woodbine. And it's really great. Dawn, you could speak to this. You've seen kind of what's happened here the past few years. COVID obviously hitting this area as hard as anywhere. And with shutdowns being what they were, we have not been at capacity like this in a couple of years. How nice is it to see this?
Oh, it's so great to hear the roar of the crowd, and you'll get to experience this from home. When the horses come down the stretch, the roar of the crowd is just so amazing, and you miss that sound. It was so weird the last couple of years. I mean, we just don't even want to think about it anymore because that's like so in the past, and let's hope we never revisit that again, because racing wasn't the same, and yet somehow kudos to everyone in the racing industry, really worldwide, for keeping the show going on throughout difficult times. Woodbine had to reschedule the bigger races, as did everybody. The Queen's Plate was like delayed, and even this year it's normally run in June, the end of June, beginning of July, but here we are in August, and I kind of like it. It's all right.
Yeah, JD.
Yeah, no, I think really having a later start to the Queen's Plate this year and to the entire Canadian Triple Crown is also an interesting wrinkle to all of this. It gave a lot of time for horses to get a little more established, have a couple runs over this course, and I think that means that there's a lot more local rooting interest than we've seen recently. Obviously, some trainers are for the move, some trainers are against the move in relation to the timing of it, and we'll see how this plays out for years past this year. But this year, it's a cool setup that we had the American Triple Crown in full and now the Canadian Triple Crown.
Absolutely. See people hopping in the comments here. One question that we have here from Sue Coleman: what time is the Queen's Plate? That'll be 5:42 p.m. Eastern, and we will be live through that. We will show you the Queen's Plate as well. So stick with us. That's coming up in about an hour and 30 minutes or so, and we have the next two races live for you as well. I'm looking here. I think we recognize this name. This is Pops. Pops checking in from Morocco.
Hi, Pops.
Legitimately checking in from Morocco here at what would be, I guess, 9:13 p.m. out there. So it's not that late, but get to bed soon. You don't want to stay up too late. Come on.
Pops, he's having a beer. I hope that's okay.
Cheers to you. I miss you. Please come home soon. We do have a couple of other comments here. One of them is from Truman, who says, go Rondura. So we're looking ahead a little bit to the Queen's Plate. And why don't we do that? Let's just take a quick peek ahead to the Queen's Plate. Rondura, of course, ran a massive race in the Marine Stakes. Let's go back and take a look at that race and how he finished up and why there's a lot of hype around this one.
Rondura in front has grabbed Ironstone, and as they turn in, the Marine coming home is Mannix got held up on the inside quite badly. Duke of Love's flashing home down the center. Rondura taken on by Duke of Love. Duke of Love trying to balance up, has the head on the side, but Rondura's raced away. Rondura grinding clear of the opposition in a massive win. Rondura stamps himself as a big threat in the Queen's Plate. Rondura canters in, wins the Marine 5 lengths and could have won by 10.
I think when you watch that, obviously visually impressive, right? And we have a lot of people who are watching with us for the first time, trying to make sense of this and probably see that race and say, do you really have to spend time analyzing this race? That horse made it look so easy. How could you beat a horse like that? Is there anything we're missing, right? I mean, the horse looked impressive there, comes in fresh. He's got a jockey named Flavien Prat who's coming in from the U.S. to ride, who's one of the best turf riders in the world. Checking every box. What is the downside on Rondura?
I think you just mentioned it. The potential downsides is the fact that he hasn't run since the plate trials. So he's been trained into this race. Some horses respond really well to that kind of freshening. Others not so much. So we'll see. Flavien Prat does ride. It's because his regular rider opted for the filly Moira, who we will talk about a lot in a while. So Rafael Hernandez had the choice of both Rondura and Moira, and he took the other filly. So I don't know if you got that.
Well, I spent some time in the Katerina Vasilieva barn yesterday, and one of the points she brought out is, well, Rafi had a choice, but Rafi had only run this horse once. So it's not a situation where she had a lot of concerns, and Flavien Prat has won the Queen's Plate before. So I don't think that's a real factor in this. I do think the extra distance is a thought. And then we saw Duke of Love come in second in that race. And, I'm wondering about the competition coming out of that, because Duke of Love, if Duke of Love could ever put it together, we have yet to see Duke of Love change leads as needed or run straight in the lane, which, I mean, we're going to talk about wagering angles later on how you may bet this race. I mean, that's a very interesting point to get to when it comes to Duke of Love, and we know there's a lot of My Racehorse fans out there, and we'll touch on that. But Rondura made it look easy. The layoff is a concern, and Vasilieva, done a great job with this horse. This was her first graded stakes win in the Marine, and now with her first Queen's Plate mount, she actually saddled up a horse a couple years ago for another trainer, so this is her first try in the Queen's Plate. Going to be very exciting, and we'll touch on her story more in the last 6 months for her, which have been fascinating, a little later on.
It's a great storyline, one of many. Moira, by the way, a filly running in the Canadian Triple Crown, and this race, the Queen's Queen's Plate, the equivalent would be the Kentucky Derby, right? Whereas I think it's a lot more rare, especially these days, to see a filly run in the Kentucky Derby. Here at the Queen's Plate, 4 of the last 11 winners of the race have actually been fillies. So no real history there to suggest that Moira is up against it in any way. She should be able to, and we'll look at her replays momentarily, handle the boys. Speaking of handling ourselves, we need to show some restraint here. I know, once again, Dawn will not be partaking in this, but the food is coming in. The food from the Stella Artois Terrace Patio. We wanted to give a shout out to Stella Artois and the team here. Thank you so much. This looks so. What are we looking at here? Do you want to give us a little?
This is our charcuterie board from the Stella Artois Terrace, and we have a few more items that are going to come out. We have some oysters coming for you and our terrace burgers. So enjoy.
They treat us really well here. They really do. That's Lindsay Bax,
First
by the
class,
way,
first
superstar who has been on top of every single detail getting us here to Woodbine. So thank you, Lindsay.
Welcome to Woodbine.
We
Welcome to Queen's Plate Day.
We appreciate you. We're really excited. All right, JD, you make the first move.
It's
the
your
first move
move.
is the pass. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, come on. I
I'm gonna,
can't do the meat.
I
You're
know.
not
So
doing any of this
that's
stuff,
my
right?
No,
that's my
this
job.
isn't not my jam. But you know what? I'm going to be watching the horses for the King Edward because they are starting to come onto the track.
As the oysters come in here as well. So Dawn, definitely keep an eye on the horses on track and let us know what stands out to you. Of course, we've got a graphic up at this moment. Let me see if we could add this to the stream. And this way we're side by side. There are the oysters, and there's the track feed with the odds of the horses side by side. Everything you need.
What more do you want? Seriously.
You can't ask for much more, but they could actually ask for our bets. And so we'll put those on the bottom of the screen. This is a pick 3 ticket that we put together. If you're playing for home, this starts right here in race 8. So you could punch in that ticket. It's all of this brain power giving you a pick there. Dawn, here they are on the track. Let us know what you think, and I'm going to start eating.
Yeah, Harlan Estate. So starting there with, Antonio Gallardo, he has really taken to Woodbine. I love the way he rides this course, especially the turf. Get a look at Filo di Ariana now. Kazushi Kimura was away for a long time, of course, with concussion, some issues, and back with a vengeance. He's been winning races left and right. That horse is going to be tough, but he's one of the speed horses too, so it's a concern. Cheryl Spite withdrew, unfortunately. The 4 Hadassah has to be considered as a long shot in this field. This one for Kevin Attard. You get to see a look at Rafael Hernandez, who will be prominent on our program this afternoon with Wayburn. Town Cruise right to the front, right? Fly to the front and see what happens. There's no looking back for him. I like March to the Arch. Today. I thought he should have won this race last year. And he wasn't able to. He actually ran pretty well in it, and we'll see what happens with March to the Arch. But he's kind of my dark horse in here. He's not a dark horse, though. Somehow he's 2-1.
Yeah, he's taking some money, and I feel just like he doesn't always get respect here, but he always runs well here at Woodbine. And he did have a ton of trouble in the Connaught Cup. I mean, I bet on him that day. I don't know if I want 2-1 on him. And the horse that I like, JD was, he was heckling me earlier for coming up with Hadassah. But, I think this is a horse who's truly trending in the right direction at the right moment. You might write off the last win because it was on the front end, and we know that he's not going to be on the front end in this race, but he's one who certainly hasn't needed to be on the front end. So I like Hadassah, which is why we have 4, 6, 7 in this race. JD, you can continue to make fun of my pick.
Well, no, I obviously loved Hadassah in the Prince of Wales last year, and I think that's a good spot in that race didn't have a lot of speed, so we saw Hadassah near it. We talked about Filo de Ariana. We talked about Town Cruise. I think there's a lot of speed signed on here. So for Gary Boulanger, he's going to have to figure out another riding style and another running style for this horse, and this horse has won once coming from behind, but that was on debut, so it's been a while, and this is obviously big stakes company here. So really, when we talk about this race, I really think there's going to be a lot of pace, and I have a hard time seeing Hadassah get there. So we're going to see what kind of trip Hadassah can get. I really think March to the Arch is the horse that makes a lot of sense to pick up the pieces here. So 9-5 now on that horse. We might see March to the Arch be the post-time favorite in this race, which I think would surprise a lot of people.
Oh, no doubt.
I'd bet against him. Seriously, I was looking at the morning line thinking, it seems a little generous, but I definitely don't want him at 2-1. Yeah, he can win, but he was 8-1 morning line. And that seemed to me to be, you know what? I knew I was going to get 8-1, but I mean, even like 4-1 would have been reasonable. To me, he's dropped too low. 2-1 is too low on a horse that's really dependent. At the same time, though, if the pace does develop like we kind of all think it will, then he benefits the most.
JD, take us through the rest of the sequence. We'll just kind of touch on the next few races briefly. We have 3, 6, 8 coming up in the next race, which is the Canadian Stakes. The 3 is Crystal Cliffs. The 6 is Flirting Bridge. And the 8 is Belagamba, who I wanted to single for the record. But I don't think either of them like that horse. More on that one coming up shortly. And then, of course, in the Queen's Plate, we've used 3 horses again. Duke of Love, Rondura, who we talked about, and Moira. Just looking at the next race in particular, the Canadian, just give us some of the logic here behind Crystal Cliffs and Flirting Bridge.
Yeah, I think, Angelou is probably the speed of the race, the 4, but I don't know how much we can trust that form. It's a lot of cheaper form going against these graded stakes company horses. So really, I think Crystal Cliffs is probably going to be the favorite because Crystal Cliffs can sit that stalking trip and make one move and go. I think you're really looking your horse, Belagamba, Dan. I like the horse, but I think it's going to be way far back. Yeah. And I worry if there's going to be enough time for that horse to come around, given that there isn't going to be a pace meltdown up front that I see. It's going to be a pretty easy lead for Angelou. I just don't think Angelou can hold. So obviously, to me, Crystal Cliffs makes the most sense because that's going to be the next horse going to be sitting behind that horse.
Anything, Dad?
Yeah, I want to see who's going to eat an oyster first on the show.
Ask them here. Bring them here. Bring them here.
I think that I was going to say the loser has to eat an oyster, but they send an oyster on over. Oh,
I'm
is
ready.
It time?
JD, bring it to me.
Send them an oyster.
Are you an oyster person?
Do I need to dress
I'm a
this
vegan.
for you at all, Dan, or
what's that?
I need to dress this at all, or are you just going to take it?
No, bring me the whole tray.
It's like a live.
Will it make you sick if I bring the oysters in front of you?
No. Well, no. It
I want you to comment. Drop your comments in the chat. Let me know, oysters or no oysters? Are you oyster people or are you not oyster people?
Are you vegan like me or non-vegan like most of the rest of the world?
All right, who's going to do the play-by-play of me topping this thing? Oh, there's no nothing to scoop with. Nothing to scoop. So I'm going to have to actually do the full slurp.
Yeah.
So, all right, somebody's got to do the play-by-play.
All right, so Dan is he's going lemon, which is a move here. We've got a lot of other accoutrements on the plate, but it looks like he's just going straight lemon juice, and he's
I
didn't squirt you.
And he's going to squirt some lemon juice all over the place. And it looks
Dad,
like
are you still watching? Do you see what's happening here?
On top. Oh, he dumped a whole lot of it.
That's okay.
So, yeah. So what we're seeing is Dan struggle with the sauces here. I don't know what
I don't
that
even know
one
what
is.
that is. Looks like vinegar.
Yeah.
What's the name of this?
And then there's a hot sauce next to it. I saw. So.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is fascinating television. As Dan is going to really struggle to not get all of that on his blue sport coat.
We need a bib. A bib. Here he goes. The technique was good. We'll give him thumbs up for the technique. Freaking delicious.
Freaking delicious.
That's the rating that it
word.
gets. Out of 10, it gets a freaking delicious.
There you go. Oh, we don't have napkins.
You're having naked oyster. Naked oyster.
Oh, my God.
That one was very attached.
JD with the throat. Thank you, brother. Do you want a napkin just for sitting next to us?
No. Well, yeah, I might need a full-on lobster plastic bib the way it's looking here, but we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely delicious. This is really freaking spicy. I didn't know that. This is hot.
Yeah, there appears to be maybe some habanero lace there. It is a red chili pepper of some.
We have joking. We have
spicy.
joking.
That's real spicy. It's delicious, but it's spicy.
Spicy, just
Lord.
like your take on Hadassah. Very spicy.
All right, let's get ready for this.
You want us to get these out of your face? Let me just have one more before we do that. Hold on.
I'm good.
One more. Hold on.
We got co-favorites at 8-5. The two, and the 7.
Thank you, bro. Those are delicious. Thank you again to the Stella Artois Terrace Patio. We have a race coming up right now.
We do.
It's the King Edward. We'll stop talking. Let's take this race full.
Last a long march to the arch. Stand by for a start. Goes in, they're all in. Locked up. And they're off. And a good start, Villa de Ariana and Town Cruise, who's run out in front. Hadassah the center from Weyburn, Harlan Estate. A march to the arch drops to the tail. Up the hedge, Fila de Ariana joins Town Cruise. They're the joint leaders by 2 lengths. In third, Hadassah takes a nice trail. 3/4 to Wayburn, 2.5 Harlan Estate, second last, and 1 away last is March to the Arch. That is the running order they settle into, and Fila de Ariana being pressed a little bit by Town Cruise. They show the way by 2 to Hadassah. Wayburn bobbing along nicely on the outside. They've come clear by 4.5 lengths to Harlan Estate, and at the back is March to the Arch, a couple away last. Fila de Ariana and Town Cruise still lead as they go into the turn by 1.5 lengths Hadassah. Wayburn 3 parts away fourth, catching some ground. Harlan Estate's about 3 or 4 lengths behind them, and dropping out 4 lengths away last, still March to the Arch. They race inside the half mile in the King Eddie and sharing the lead. Town Cruise on the outside and Fila de Ariana. Fila de Ariana and Town Cruise head to head. About 2.5 to Hadassah. They're really starting to sprint now. Wayburn in fourth. Harlan Estate continues to make ground. A long last at the moment. March to the Arch as they head for home. And Town Cruise on the outsides hit the front. Fila de Ariana fights back. They're still stride to stride. Hadassah takes aim down the center. Up the rails, Harlan Estate. Trying to run to the back. March to the Arch. Fila de Ariana got the better of Town Cruise. And now Hadassah on the outside to second. Up the rails, Harlan Estate. And is running on well for Antonio Gallardo. Fila de Ariana by 2. Harlan Estate the only danger. Fila de Ariana, the wires coming up. And the King 80 to Fila de Ariana. A length and 3/4 Harlan Estate. Hadassah third, March to the Arch fourth, from Town Cruise, and last, Wayburn.
Wow, she was tough. She was tough. She took all the heat, and she managed to.
Why are you demasculinizing him?
Oh, sorry. He took all the heat.
Just because he beat your horse, Hadassah, you're going to go like that.
My mouth is on fire right now. Like I can't.
He said he, but the S was because he can't.
I can't even
anymore.
think. I'm like sweating. Sherry, welcome to the set. After all of our bad takes on Fila de Ariana, we had to bring someone new in. This is Sherry. You've seen her if you've followed anything on Twitter or Woodbine the past couple of years. Go Philly. Sherry, how you doing? Welcome to the set.
I had so much fun watching you eat those mussels down.
Oh my God.
And you're very brave for doing so.
Oh, come on.
I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm glad to see you after a hiatus. It's been a couple of years. So.
It's been a while. Can we offer you some cheese?
Would you like to eat an oyster on air?
I will pass with the oysters because Dan did such a great job. But I will definitely try. What do we have here? Maybe I'll try one of these.
Oh yeah, definitely take the meat because I don't eat the meat.
With my hands.
Oh yeah, please.
That's okay?
We don't have any silverware. We have no napkins. We're animals here. We're just going at it. So yeah, please.
Who did you like in that race? We didn't get a chance to go. Oh, I got to talk to her when she's eating.
Now she's gonna.
So what do you think about stuff here in Toronto?
Nothing to lose if she says Fila de Ariana now.
I can't hear you. You were cheering for Hadassah quite loudly in my
Hadassah
ear.
got the perfect setup. I'm like, this is working exactly as I envisioned. Was Fila Ariana battling Di Ariana, battling with Town Cruise. Hadassah sitting off of them. Every once in a while, you envision those things correctly.
Yeah.
But the horse just was not as good as I thought he was today.
I have never chewed so fast in my life.
I'm so sorry.
Well, wash it down. You do have the Stella right there.
What? It's okay because I'm going to enjoy all the time that I have with you guys today. I just want to say you're doing a fantastic job so far.
Aww.
And it's so nice to actually be sitting next to Dawn Lupul, who is just like a queen in her own right when it comes to Woodbine. So it's an honor to be sitting here with you. And
you are too kind.
With
Too
JD
kind.
as well. So thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Do you want a red board? Do you want to tell us you had Fila de Ariana, or you're not going to say that?
So I'm alive in the pick 5, actually.
Okay.
So
You did
that was kind of like where I targeted my bets today. I did have Philo. I saw the last race and I was really impressed. And I mean, there was other speed in this race. So it really did, you had to go through a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. And when you're trying to beat the favorites, as a lot of us tend to do, right, you kind of reach for elsewhere. And my elsewhere was actually March to the Arch because he's a horse for course. So I thought for sure, you know what, he had a bang-on chance today. But I think he just took a little bit too long to get going.
He's too far back.
He was too far back. And you have to remember, like, we were supposed to get pouring rain today, and we didn't. But we still had a thunderstorm last night, and we did take quite a bit of rain. So maybe the turf isn't quite as firm as everybody's thinking that it could be. But hats off to Philo. I mean, that was a huge run.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy I'm alive in the pick 5.
Yeah, well, and look, we hope.
All
So,
matters.
what do you need to bring it home? Give us a little preview of what you're looking at the next few races.
So I actually really like the Canadian.
Okay. Well, we got you on at the right time. That's the next race.
Yeah, I think that this race could be a real surprise for a few of them. I actually landed on Keyflower.
Okay, tell us more.
That horse, yeah.
I thought that Keyflower, her last race out was against males. And let me tell you, she was amped. I know how probably we've had the discussion on Moira and her sassy behavior. And if anybody hasn't heard it, they'll hear it in the lead up to the Queen's Plate. But Keyflower was also really, really amped up that day. And I really wanted to keep an eye on her because that was such a strange spot to run her, I thought. But I think the whole goal was to get that race in her for here. So if we get anywhere from 10 to 1, I'm going to be super happy about that, right? But she for sure, I'm going to play her win place as well because I just think that she's sitting on a really, really nice race. I also have the 2, Bev Rover, how can you not, as well as Crystal Cliffs. Crystal Cliffs loves it here. Yeah. So I actually went 3 deep in here. I took 2 there, and I took 2 in race 6, which was really, really lucky to hit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you could be in for a nice little score here.
Well, I'm singled into Moira, so.
Okay.
So if I get to there, I will be sweating it out. Let's just put it that way.
I appreciate you stretching on the explanation a little bit. It allowed me to reach over, grab from the charcuterie board.
Without me asking for your opinion right at that moment. So normally when you're doing television, you don't worry about your co-partner eating all of a sudden. So yeah, it was just a little different. Yeah.
There are going to be so many shots of like food, like just dripping on me.
Well, that's what I was waiting for. I'm like, is he going to get that all in his mouth, or is there going to be some like damage to the shirt?
Well,
but you know what? I'm so proud of you. You pulled it off very elegantly.
Thank you. My mom hasn't checked in yet, but I think she's proud too. So we've talked so much about Moira. Let's take a look at what some of the hype is about surrounding Moira. This is her on the Woodbine Oval.
And in turn, Moira pouncing for the lead and try to run home on the outside, swoop to finish. In the centre, Curling Candy's finishing on, but Moira's burst away as they turn in the Woodbine Oaks from Salabia, and they've raced 4 in front. And Moira has dashed out by 4 lengths. Salabia in second, and the rest are forlorn. They're so far back, and this is a procession in no uncertain terms. Moira has completely turned this into a one-act affair, and this year's Woodbine Oaks is absolutely at the mercy of only one horse of fantastic winner. Moira, does she put her name into the Queen's Plate bid by that win? She won by 12 lengths.
Another one there. I mean, she was a runaway winner. I think the question people have had is, what was she up against? How do you assess the quality of that field that she beat?
I think it was a decent enough field behind her, but when you win that decisively, you're going to turn some heads, and especially there were a lot of pre-race antics, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
I think it actually caused J.D. to cancel a couple of winning tickets. They're probably the last tickets he might have cashed, but it didn't quite work out. So before the race, she was very wound up. She jammed herself on there's rubber cement, I guess you call it, the tiles out there in the walking ring, and got one shoe off, and then the other was bent. They went to repair it. She was having none of it. She was causing a bit of a fit, but she never got herself really worked up. Like everybody else around her, poor Kevin Attard, he was in a lather. But Moira was fine. She just kind of dealt with it and then went out and crushed with no hind shoes on. So watching her pre-race will probably be the most important thing today, and just really hoping that she's 100% on her game again.
We have a comment here that says Emma is the winner. Emma referring to Emma Jane Wilson, who's one of the more popular riders here and really anywhere globally. Emma Jane Wilson will be riding the 9-horse in the Queen's Plate. That would be Huntmaster, a long shot at 30 to 1. We'll take a look at those odds again momentarily. So we've got you on record. We know that you like Moira. We know who you like in the Canadian. But how do you, like, you're not going to make any other bets, right? You're alive into this pick 5. You're going to try to hit this pick 5. How do you bet the Queen's Plate if you want to just bet that race? How would you do it?
Well, that's the thing, is you have to really pay attention to the odds boards, I find, right? But I had such a strong opinion that I wanted to make sure that I placed the pick 5, because that's obviously where I'm going to find my value. But I think the board is going to tell us a lot. I love Huntmaster as a live long shot, so I'm definitely going to be using him underneath. And I think Sir for sure, if we get 12-1 or 10-1 on him, that's also a price that, really you got to take that into consideration.
Yep.
So I plan on now wheeling Moira. That's my plan. Again, though, it's really going to depend on the odds boards, because if Rondura, that the worst case scenario, Rondura comes in second or vice versa, and you lose your whole point of trying to find value, right? So I think it's going to probably be a last minute decision, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be using Huntmaster for sure underneath, just because I think that he's a newcomer kind of to this group. All these other horses have kind of run against each other once in a while, and he's intriguing. He can run the trip. Like he doesn't have to be on the lead. He doesn't have to, close from really far behind. But he ran against Canadian Pharaoh last out, and Canadian Pharaoh, if that rings a bell, he was running in the endurance, the Turf Endurance series, which it was probably a little bit too long for him, but he ended up a really nice fourth. So I do think that kind of flatters Huntmaster a little bit. So that's definitely one that I plan to use underneath.
Jerry, let me ask you, we were talking a little bit on the set earlier before we went live. You were telling me about sort of your ascension in racing, doing more and more in the sport. You were just a private person, right, who just liked the races, and you've now turned into someone who speaks about this stuff expertly. I didn't understand half the things you were saying. It's that advanced. How do you get to that point? And I know your daughter's been part of the journey with you. Tell us a little bit about that, because for people watching who are like, you know what, horse racing is a little confusing. It's a little complicated. I don't think I can do that. I think you are, a case in point here, where you can just go from being just, a person who might like one aspect of the sport to turning it into something, which is really kind of turning into a career for you.
Well, I think the funny thing is I've never had an actual job in racing. So I think that's what makes me a little bit of an anomaly. I never worked in a racetrack. I never grew up around horses. It was none of that. My husband took me to Assiniboia Downs on a date, and I completely fell in love with it. And I was like, I need to figure this out. I found the program challenging. It really picked everything in my brain to keep me wanting more. And again, I knew nothing. So I really started from ground zero. Then when I had my daughter, I gave up my career, and I wanted to do something that still was for me and that kept my mind in the adult world, as opposed to just being a stay-at-home mom. And it's been so fun, because I've got to take Sienna to so many different racetracks and meet so many amazing people and go behind the scenes and backstretch. And what's great is she's the next generation that's growing around telling her friends, like, yeah, you got to come to the track with my mom. And all her friends are wanting to come. And so even the people at our barn, I brought them out last week, and they were on the Stella Artois patio. They sent me bets for them today. So I think that, you know what, they're not intimidated by me. I'm not a big player. And I think that just kind of, if that allows me to grow the sport how I feel important, then that's what I'm going to do.
Well, I'm intimidated by you. So, and you do a wonderful job. No, seriously, you do a wonderful job, and you're always accessible. And for those who don't know, on Twitter, you're at Go Philly, correct?
Correct. Yes.
All right. So you could follow Sherry and get her picks and insights. We're going to just put up the screen here briefly, just so you could see some of the. This is the result, of course, here of the King Edward. Filo di Ariana 1, Harlan Estate 2nd, Hadassah 3rd. Okay, my pick finished 3rd. I feel okay about that. Not great. March to the Arch, Town Cruise, Weyburn. Weyburn's a horse we didn't even talk about. That was an interesting place to spot the horse, right?
I thought that was a really interesting spot for him. And I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't even give him a look in the field.
I kind of just
lost over I broke it down, and obviously with the scratch, that really kind of changed a little bit more. And that's where I was able to cut down on my ticket, actually, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
But again, I needed everything to go exactly as I wanted it to, because if there was a speed duel on the front, then I was in trouble. So
we're going to see in a couple of moments the horses enter, the saddling enclosure here at Woodbine. You see the guaranteed late pick 5, which starts here at race 9, is on the screen here, $250,000 there. So if you like money, that's something to consider. Race 9 is a Canadian Stakes, as we mentioned. Want your comments here in the chat. Tell us who you like. It's coming up. Race 9. Tell us who you like. You could also play doubles here into the Queen's Plate. Dawn, we're getting our first look at the odds boards here. The one horse, Money for Row, 9-1 off the 8-1 morning line, so about right. The 2, Fev Rover, was a speed horse who Sherry mentioned. Interesting, not taking early money. 5-1 now off the 5-2 morning line. Crystal Cliffs, I think, is a horse that we all like. She's now 5-2 off the 2-1 morning line. Angelou, 19-1. 5, Barkin, 24-1. The favorite is Flirting Bridge, a horse I know you like, at 9-5. The 7, Keyflower, 10-1, same as the morning line. And the 8, Belagamba, the horse I like, 9-1. So I'm going to take that off the screen for a moment and go back to you, Dawn. What do you think of the odds board? And does it change your opinion on maybe how to approach this race at this point?
Yeah, again, you never know until the odds open up, right? What they're going to be, who the public is going to gravitate to. And I do like the 6 horse Flirting Bridge, but I definitely don't like her at 9-5. I don't think she's a 9-5 kind of horse in here. It's all about probabilities, right? Like you have to, it's one thing, you know, I've been a public handicapper for a long time. Let's put it that way, since the 90s. So paid to give my opinion of what to bet to people. The only problem with that is that you are forced to do that long before you know what the scratches are going to be, before you know what the odds are going to be. Every time I walked to the track here at Woodbine, somebody would find me and say, who do you like today? My answer was always the same. I like this horse, but the odds have to be. It's like, who do I like? I only like it if the odds are this price. So that's what parimutuel wagering is. You know, for those who aren't familiar, I'm betting against you. I'm betting against you. All the money gets pooled together. You know, if my opinion is better than the rest of the crowd, then I should be able to make money doing this. And I do, and you do, and we do. I mean, you can make money doing this. You just have to learn the craft a little bit.
Absolutely. And we have the horses now up on the screen so you could take a look at them. Dawn, we want you to focus on the horses as best you can from here. It's always better when you got your eyes on them, up close to them, but from here, we'll have to do the best we can. Sherry, any surprises to you? I guess Fev Rover being 5-1 is a little surprising so far.
You know, I always find it interesting in these races how you think you know who the favorite's going to be and who the favorite ends up being. And I think, and maybe Dawn can attest to this too, when we have these days that we're on an international, global scale, we take a lot of money from other places that necessarily don't really agree with our locals, right? You know, if we have local horses running, then, you know, the shippers tend to take a little bit more money than ours do. And I mean, that's just, I understand it. That's just how it's been for years and years and years, right? So if and you have the Flavian Pratt factor, correct, on the 6.
Yep.
So a lot of people that maybe are looking to play Woodbine for the first time and are looking at Jockeys or whatever, they see, oh, okay, Flavian Pratt. They're supposed to have some, you know, given the turf. Well, this horse ran over in Europe. So to me, this makes logical sense, right? However, we didn't get the amount of rain that we want. There's probably still a rather firm turf course. And you know what? That's, to me, it's a perfect bet against.
Yeah.
As Dawn said, that's what we do. We all try to beat each other as well as the betting public.
Before we let you go, Sherry, because we know you want to jump back into the action and be up close with it, I like a horse here who I get the sense that Dawn and J.D. didn't particularly love, and that's Belagamba. This is a horse who's coming in for trainer Ignacio Correas, who's been known to train a good turf horse or two.
Right.
Has jockey Vincent Cheminot from France, who's actually came over earlier this year, has been running extremely well in turf races for Correas. They only have, we talked earlier, the old one race angle for the jockey in particular. Here you have jockey and trainer. This is the only race they're in today.
Yeah.
They shipped this horse in off of a nondescript stakes race. And I say this, and I should preface it by saying I love Laurel. So anybody watching at Laurel, when I say nondescript, I mean that in the most loving way. But they shipped the horse in off a win in that race. But to me, I see them projecting a lot of confidence. This is the horse who is making a third start of the year. It's really, when it comes to form cycle, and what I mean by that is essentially kind of trying to project at which race, at which point the horse will be poised to run his or her best race. It seems to me, knowing Correas with that race as a setup, this is that race for Belagamba. And right now I'm looking at 9-1. I don't know how much I can bet here if there's a limit, but I'm going to be betting heavily on Belagamba. Am I crazy, Sherry?
I understand all of your reasoning for it. Absolutely. And the other thing that stood out to me with this horse is 2 for 2 at the distance as well, right? Sometimes those new players that do come in really make you question certain things because there's no pressure on them.
Yep.
So they want to have that little bit of an outside shot, right? But a lot of people, too, that are looking at the form are going to go, we don't know who that is.
Yep.
We're not really sure, like, how come they're coming from Laurel to Woodbine, whereas we think, wow, that's a vote of confidence to be making that jump, right? But if you have a horse that you're that confident, why not? I don't think it's a bad play at all. Did I use? No. But again, if I know who's going to tell me that they're rolling in the money once this race is over and Belagamba wins.
Yeah, she's like, am I going to bet with my money? No. You want to bet with your money? Do whatever you want.
We never talk somebody off. I'll
Never.
talk you off a 6-5 shot, but I'll never talk you off a 9-1 horse ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have 10 minutes to the Canadian Stakes. On the other side of a video we're going to show you, JD will be back on. Just wanted to thank you, Sherry, for coming on with us for a few minutes. Really appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Lovely.
And it's just wonderful to see you, Dan, after a couple year hiatus. For those that don't know, Dan has seen my daughter kind of grow up. He's been at the racetracks that I've brought her to. So it's interesting that our friendship has gotten to where it has over the last little while.
Yeah,
So I'm honored. Thank you for having me. And I wish you guys the best of luck.
All right. Well, good luck.
Good luck on your pick 5.
Thank
Absolutely. We want to take a look now at a really nice video that the track produced here. They spoke to some of the jockeys about who they race for, right? Like we all follow our dreams for ourselves, but we do it to try to make other people proud. And this really nice piece here looks at what some of the jockeys think when they're riding.
My father is always on my mind on the race days. My father, who's been with me the whole time, I grew up doing these things with him. He teach me everything I know.
I was thinking like I want to be jockey since from the 5 years old, and then my father supporting for me and my mom supporting for me, and they are watching the racing from YouTube, my Instagram, Facebook, and keep following for me.
It will be my wife and my son for sure.
My father is the one who brought me into the game. I know it's very important to him, and he's with me every step of the way.
I got 2 people really special. It's my grandfather and my grandma. She just died months ago. Yeah, that's 2 really in my heart. And I know I'm here because they're gonna enjoy every step with me.
I absolutely love that video. We just watched the video with the jockeys talking about who they race for, which I thought was beautiful. The jockeys talking about why they do this, and it was a really powerful video. We have with us, we actually did a whole shuffle here on the set. JD is now in the middle with us, and Jim Lawson, the CEO here at Woodbine, joins us. Jim, thank you for joining us. What a spectacular day it has been already at the Queen's Plate.
Well, I can tell you the buzz, and I'll put it in quotes, post-pandemic is amazing here.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun, young crowd, fashion, and great horse racing. So it's just been exceeded our expectations.
Yeah, and you mentioned post-pandemic, and this is the first time myself and Dan have been here post-pandemic. When you look at the track from the highway, you're seeing a lot of new improvements and things coming in. We've got the new hotel coming in. We've got the new music performance venue coming in. We've got the new casino coming in. A lot of excitement coming here to Woodbine.
We're blessed to have 700 acres in what is now downtown Toronto. I mean, we're right in the middle of the city, and our idea here is to build the community around the racetrack, keep horse racing at center ice, and expose horse racing to a whole new crowd. And that's what this industry needs to do, and we're excited about where we're headed.
All right. Well, if you're excited, I mean, look, first of all, just so you know, we do this show a little differently. We know you're working still, but if you want, we're going to put the Stella right. Stella's been so good to us, by the way. That's if you want to crack. You got the chalice in front of you. Now would be the time. I'll ask you a really long question, so it'll give you a chance to get started. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a big head on this Stella.
Yeah, look, we're not blaming you. We shook it up a little bit. There was a little bit of a prank here. No, we're kidding. Cheers. This has been absolutely wonderful.
Great to have you guys here. I mean, it's wonderful. You've been supportive. You've been a great partner, and here's a raise a chalice to ABR.
Oh, thank you very much. No, we appreciate the hospitality has been spectacular here. And you mentioned some of the upcoming, the ongoing projects. Give us some hard targets. Like, when can people expect that they can, come visit Woodbine, stay at the hotel? What are some of the projected targets for you?
Yeah, the main construction right now is an expanded gaming floor, but the hotel, which is a beautiful 6-story hotel sitting trackside, it'll be open next spring. And the 5,000-seat music auditorium, devoted totally to music and concerts, will be open around the same time next April, and 140 nights a year. And we'll make sure they wander over to horse racing too. So it's going to be great for the sport.
Yeah, and really we touched on it very briefly, but the first Queen's Plate back from the pandemic, it is great to see a full Woodbine, a sold-out Woodbine, and I really want to get a sense of how you felt with a empty facility to how you feel today, and give us an idea of how great it feels to have a full house here.
Well, it was eerie in 2020. There was no one here, no owners even. Yeah. And we walked in and my wife shed a tear.
Oh.
And 2021, not much better than that. We had limited capacity. And here we are. People are marching down the doors to get in here today, and it's really, really fun. And it's what racing needs, and what racing's all about is to expose racing in person to people. There's lots, of course. You guys do a great job of streaming and television. We have a great nationwide on TSN and CTV today, but there's nothing like being up close to the jockeys and the horses to love horse racing.
So it's been, honestly, it's been exhilarating to be in this particular spot, because in all these filled seats behind us, as the horses come down the stretch, that roar of the crowd, you can't replicate that. You go to a baseball game, you might hear it once or twice a game. Here you're getting it 10, 11, 12 races a day. It's just an excitement that you really don't feel anywhere else. And I love it. I mean, I think we all love it, which is why we're here.
The roar of the crowd.
It's amazing.
And if I can make a little pitch for Woodbine,
yeah.
There's nothing better than that E.P. Taylor turf course in the stretch. I mean, they get rolling as they come around that final turn, and it's people are right on top of that turf course. So much fun.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous as well. Just looking at it visually, it's stunning. It's the backdrop here that you see, and we've gone to a couple of different shots where you can get a really nice look from above, which is great. The other part that makes this sport amazing are the stories, right? And the people involved, the horses. What are some, I know you don't like to play favorites, so I'm not going to ask you who's your pick in the Queen's Plate, but what are some of the storylines that you're interested in? Obviously, the filly is spectacular. Are there any other stories that stand out to you as being sort of real interesting Queen's Plate stories?
We've been working closely with the My Racehorse people and hoping to bring them in to Ontario, and it looks like that can happen. So you, as a horse person trying to build excitement in the sport, I think what My Racehorse is doing is great. And, I hope they're successful today, just attracting a whole new generation of fans to the sport and making it accessible. There's just so many great stories about every horse, right? And that's what horse racing is all about, is the hard-working people that love these beautiful animals. And there's a story behind everyone.
See, Duke of Love. I've been trying to convince him Duke of Love is the horse.
I would love to see Duke of Love triumph today, because we know that there's a lot of My Racehorse owners here, and there are a lot more at home, and they're going to wager, and they're going to wager heavy on Duke of Love.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see the odds, and after the Canadian, we'll get our first glimpse at the odds, and that'll be interesting to see how much My Racehorse money is on Duke of Love. Before we let you go, if you were to, we were streaming largely to an audience that's younger and learning the game and excited about racing. But still, if they're in the U.S., they'd have to make a trip up. What's your best pitch? And I think we covered a lot of it, but why you should come visit Woodbine right now?
Well, anyone who comes to Toronto, and there are a lot of great American cities, but anyone who comes to Toronto loves what it has to offer, from theater to music to sports, and it's really just a fun city to visit. There's so much going on here all the time. Very multicultural, which for a lot of visitors means great restaurants everywhere, and it's such fun. If you love racing, the turf racing here, I think, is second to none in North America, and we write 4 or 5 turf races every day, and we're very proud of our turf courses and our turf racing. So it's just a great place to visit. I'm a big fan, but I should be, right?
Yeah, we got to spend some time on the Stella Artois Terrace yesterday
Yes.
with you, and that's a great addition to this track that's really going to bring a younger audience to the racetrack.
We have a 300-seat new patio that Labatt's, which is the largest brewing company along with Molson's in Canada, and they've done just an amazing job setting up this terrace. It's been sold out all the time since it's been open in the last couple of weeks. The food is tremendous. You're looking at some of the food right here from the Stella Artois patio, and people who do come, I recommend you sit up there. The vibe is tremendous.
Spectacular. We're actually showing some video right now of people enjoying the day in the Stella Artois Terrace patio. Great food, great drinks, obviously. Can we offer you anything else? A bit of charcuterie.
You ate all the oysters just about.
Hey, that little relish on the side is spicy. Be careful if you touch those. Those are spicy. So.
Prince Edward Island oysters, the best in the world, I think.
Delicious,
there you go.
Delicious. Jim Lawson, thank you so much for spending
Thank
a few
you.
minutes with us here on what I
Lovely
know is
to
a
have you
super
guys
busy
here.
day.
Thank you, and appreciate your ongoing partnership and support of Woodbine Racing.
All right,
Have a
you're
great
wonderful.
day.
Thank you. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the day. You can feel free to take that with you if you'd like. We're not going to tell anybody. Go ahead and take that. So that was Jim Lawson here, enjoying a celebratory drink here on what's really kind of felt like a momentous Queen's Plate day. So
Yeah, really been a great
appreciate
day
you.
so far, and we appreciate Jim Lawson joining us, CEO of Woodbine Entertainment. But people want to make money here, Dan.
Yeah, they
and
do.
we are loading into the gate, and really, I think Crystal Cliffs at 5-2 is an absolute steal. I thought this horse was going to be 7-5, 8-5. You're getting 5-2 on the win end. If you're placing your bets now, Crystal Cliffs will sit right off the pace of the 4, and I think we'll be able to get him home here.
Don't miss out on Belagamba. I have not been able to make a bet, so that means Belagamba will absolutely win because I have not been able to make a bet yet. Bet the 8-horse Belagamba.
And we'll take it up to Robert Geller for the low to end the call, and we'll be back with some Queen's Plate analysis, and Don will be back right after this race.
From the barn of Ignacio Correas the fourth. They're almost right. Keyflower has gone in. Belagamba, outside gate. For Vincent Cheminot, and they'll be on their way. Moves up, they're all in. Locked up, and they're off. And one of the best out is Keyflower. A line of them going through is Angelou for the lead. Away nicely is Flirting Bridge, and on the inside is Crystal Cliffs, and Fev Rover goes through on the inside of all of them. Fev Rover joining Angelou, a length to Flirting Bridge, a length away on the inside, Money for Row. Getting back a bit now, Crystal Cliffs in 5th, 1.5 to Keyflower, Bark in 2nd last. The early trailer Belagamba. About 7 lengths covers the field, and taking out in front the lead Angelou away from Fev Rover by a length. Angelou, Fev Rover the top 2. Lobbing along beautifully in 3rd. A length away is Flirting Bridge. Money for Row on the inside. A neck away Crystal Cliffs. 3 wide Keyflower edges up. Next to last is Barkin, and last is Belagamba. Angelou out in front as they start the run towards the turn. Angelou at the far turn will lead by a couple of lengths here. In second placing, Fev Rover. On the inside goes Money for Row from Flirting Bridge. A length and a half, Crystal Cliffs. Bark on the inside. Now starting to move up is Belagamba, and on the outer is Keyflower. As they race inside the half mile, Angelou has company. Fev Rover coming quickly, and Fev Rover goes for home now early, has gone to the front. Angelou on the inside. They've sprinted clear by 3 lengths to Flirting Bridge. On the rails, Money for Row. Crystal Cliffs winding up, and then came Barkin. Second last is Keyflower ridden along, and Belagamba is last. They turn in the Canadian, and out in front on the outside, Fev Rover. Here the runs from Crystal Cliffs and Flirting Bridge. They're swooping. Crystal Cliffs on the outside, race to the front with Fev Fevrova. Back in the center, Flirting Bridge. Barkin down the outside. And Fevrova fighting back. Crystal Cliffs and Fevrova. Fevrova on the inside, won't be denied. Crystal Cliffs and Fevrova. Fevrova on the inside, a neck in front, and has fought back to the lead. Fevrova, Crystal Cliffs, stride to stride, a headbutt between Crystal Cliffs on the outside and back on the rail. Fevrova. Three.
Wow. Wow. Oh my God, that was incredible.
Quite the finish there. And I think Crystal Cliffs got there, but we're going to wait and see. I've never been good with the wire and the EP Taylor turf course. So
wow. Let's leave it to the audience, right? You tell us. Oh, this is a great comment. Oh dear. I don't know if that's regarding us us eating oysters or if that's about the finish, but
I will say I'll take some credit. So I said Crystal Cliffs 5-2 ended up being the 9-5 favorite there. So I think that last push of all of our viewers and the money, I think that's really what happened there.
You just made everybody money, is what you're saying. You're taking full credit.
I hope so.
I think it was
the photo sign is still up, Dawn. So
it was 3. I think it was 3-2. Boy, did the 2-horse Fevrova ever battle gamely on the inside, though, right? I mean,
yeah, I think Ree took the lead right here where we're watching on the replay, and oh boy, it's incredibly tight.
the head bob. It's outside.
I think it's outside.
I call outside, but there was a little sneaky bob there right at the finish. So
I'm not going to call it. I'm just working on. I've made a commitment to eat 3,000 calories while we're on set today.
Of a commitment.
I'm doing.
Okay, so Hadassah beat the horses I liked in the previous race.
That's right.
So I have loaded up a whole bunch of that salsa.
Oh, your punishment. Here we go.
That Dan put, and I also put
that
some hot sauce on this. So I'm going to set the mic down, and we're gonna do this.
I'm frightened. I'm a little frightened for all of us, actually, more so than I am for you.
Oh boy, there we go. Oh. Now, can we get like a little sensor near his head, like as the temperature rises?
Oh, inside.
Inside one.
Wow, Fevrova gets it.
That sneaky little bob right at the end of there. Fevrova with the small upset.
Should probably take one more for that bob.
I mean, I'm not sweating at all. That's the Arizona.
Oh, there you go.
I will say that was incredibly hot.
Spicy.
And I'm just doing a really good job keeping my composure.
Spicy.
It's not even really that warm today. It's nice. It's probably 70.
Yeah, there's a bit of humidity, but yeah,
76.
totally.
Yeah, it's nice. So the heat is all coming from the hot sauce, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Sherry's still alive, and she caught 9-2 there. That was a very fair price on Fevrova.
Yeah. Oh, good Laura. I saw her in the walking ring. I was, wow, this is a good-looking filly. So this one's only been on this side of the pond for a very short time. So a typical European filly. They look very strong. I actually thought she looked more like a colt than she did a filly. So yeah, that was such a heartbreaker to lose that race. Like you almost wanted a dead heat because they both ran so well.
For those who would kind of hear that and say, well, how do you know? When you say she looked more like a colt, how do you know that? How could you make that assessment?
Yeah, I grew up at the age of 6. My dad started getting horses, and I used to sit on the fence and watch them running in the field, and I just love doing that. So it's something I've been around, pretty much the whole time, my whole life. Like when you get a mare like that just comes out and she's really strong and stocky and's got a presence about her, you just sometimes think, is this a filly I'm looking at? Yeah, and you check and you go, yeah, it's a filly. But there's just something about the physical maturity and the density of the muscles, the overall structure of the entire horse itself. And she has that look about her, and you'll get to see her as she's moving into the winner's circle now. She's got the hindquarters of a sprinter too, which, if you compare like a Usain Bolt to the Kenyan marathon runners, there's a distinct difference in body types, right? You got muscles on the sprinters, you got a thinner frame on the long distance runners. It's the same with horses. Usually a horse that looks like her tends to want to go a little bit shorter, but she might have wanted about a nose shorter if she had lost that photo, but she ran so well.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, how do you do with this, JD? Can you look at horses physically and kind of make anywhere near those kinds of assessments?
I'm getting better at it, and really it's because of some people in the game and a lot of people I've met through ABR that have done it. I think Ashley Mayu does a great job of doing that down now, working for Stronach and working down at Gulfstream Park, and some of the other people that I work with on a day-to-day basis. But what I can tell you, what we can establish based off of that performance, is the second up at Woodbine after running in Bahrain angle is live. Absolutely live, Dan.
Live angle. Live. By the way, your face is a little redder. I know that's taking a toll on you.
I have not had a sip of my beer yet, and I am perfectly fine.
Well, go ahead. Now's the time. And if you're watching at
Now's
home,
the
as
time.
you said,
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers to Stella Artois.
To grab a drink.
I will also say that we were not supposed to take those chalices, but the CEO took one of the chalices, so I think that's okay.
We'll give him a break. We'll let him. He could have that one. Yeah. We'll let him take one.
That's a nice price, $11.10. $11.10 for the win.
Really nice price, and I really think Sherry's in for a nice score here. If she could bring home this last leg, she's single to Moira. If you missed Sherry here with us a few moments ago, so now the question is, we put it to you, and we want you to drop your thoughts in the comments here. Who is your pick to win the Queen's Plate? We have each kind of hinted as to who we like, but we haven't officially gone on record with an official play and how we're going to bet the race. So I think that's what we'll dig into now coming up in the next little bit. You see Fevre over there now coming off the track. Let me go ahead and remove that. And then we could talk to you, the audience. So, so drop into the comments your picks for who will win the upcoming Queen's Plate. Post time is 5:42 Eastern time. So we're looking at about 24 minutes from now. We'll have the race for you live. And for now, though, the next little bit here, I want to talk about pace, because I told you I was going to talk about pace.
Hold on, don't hide that. He's going for the bread now. He's trying to negate the burn of the tongue.
I know he's burning.
He's moved on to the camembert and the bread. So,
Dawn, how dare you?
Shocking.
Is it brie or camembert? What is it?
It's definitely brie.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm
I didn't mean to
sorry.
correct you. I just didn't know, honestly.
I'm a vegan. What do I know about cheese? Give me a break.
JD, I could see JD, and there's another JD. He operates one of the camera and helps set this whole thing up for us, JD Mitchell. I already see the gears turning in his head. He's going to cut a little sizzle, a little montage of us stuffing our faces. I already know that's something he's planning on.
I'm good.
Yeah, you're not going to be in it. You're spared.
I gotta
Be
like
thankful that you have been spared of that, Dawn.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk pace. When we talk pace, we're talking about who's going to go to the front, how fast they're going to go. Is it going to be one horse alone on the lead who can potentially steal this race? Will there be multiple horses who battle and tire each other out, setting it up for a horse who's just behind them or a closer? Just at just your cursory glance here, to me it seems like the 3-horse Ironstone and the 11-horse Cause and Mayhem are both going to go. So we know potentially one of those 2 horses can compromise the other. Will the pace be hot enough to set up for a horse coming from way off the pace? I'm not sure, but that's my early read just looking at those couple of horses. So, Dawn, what do you think?
Well, traditionally, the Queen's Plate, now that usually does happen, is you'll get horses, because they're going 1.25 miles, and no one's gone this far before. These are 3-year-old colts and geldings and a filly who haven't traveled 1.25 miles. So it's a challenging distance right away, and they're carrying a lot of weight, too. The filly gets in, Moira gets in with 121 pounds, which is 5 less than her male, supposedly stronger counterparts, but who carry 126. So it's a test of stamina and endurance. Some of these horses are just natural sprinters that their owners and trainers are taking a chance to try to let them go longer and see if they respond well to it. So notoriously, there's a quick early pace. It doesn't often set it up for really deep closers, though. It's usually horses sitting mid-pack tend to have the most success in these kind of races. So off at the hot early pace, but not so far back that you have to grow wings to be able to catch the rest of the field.
Right, and to the point where it's unlikely that if you're too far back, you're going to be able to make up the amount of ground that you need to. Looking in the comments here, the My Racehorse crowd is already making its presence known with the Duke of Love. Butch asked a very fair question, which is, what is this? The cooking channel?
Well, if Bobby Flay can be a successful horse owner, I mean, there's obviously a cooking and horse racing crossover, and we're just trying to help facilitate that a little bit more.
And it's not it's the eating and drinking channel.
Yeah, this is
Come on, Butch. What's wrong with you?
Men versus food.
I mean, we don't have an omelet station or anything going on right now. I mean, I'm happy to whip up some eggs. I mean, sorry.
We'll see if Lindsay can get on the case. I'm good. I don't mind.
Tom is weighing in with his pace projection. He's hoping the pace is fast enough to let number 1 Hall of Dreams close. Fingers crossed. And that brings up an interesting transition for us because Hall of Dreams was one of 2 horses that J.D. got to see yesterday while on the backside. J.D., what did you think of Hall of Dreams and also the other horse that you saw while you were back there?
Yeah, I think both Cassie runners were very professional in viewing. I think Surf Assure is a little more filled out to the frame. I found that Hall of Dreams was maybe a little ribby. It just needed a little more growth there. So I do think that Hall of Dreams can close in this race, and I actually kind of like Hall of Dreams maybe in a 3rd or 4th position if you're looking to key somebody in a trifecta or superfecta in this race. Definitely one of the horses that can pick up the pieces, but I think we'll be well far back in this field.
What do you think? Anything of those the longer shots in this race? I mean, do you have someone who jumps out as a long shot? Is it one of those or someone else?
Well, I'm looking, we're getting a chance to see the odds for the first time. And I'll tell you right now, Moira is at even odds, which is crazy for her to open up that low. She's a nice filly, but she's not an even odds shot in this race by any stretch of the imagination. The 9-horse Huntmaster, again, I had a chance to watch his sire run here. He was Reed Baker had this horse, Hunter's Bay. What a beautiful horse he was. Like, he was just one of these horses that would walk into the walking ring. You just go like, what kind of eye candy is that coming in here? Much like when JD walks into a room.
There we go.
Well, and Emma Jane Wilson in a unique position because she also rode the sire as well.
She did. Yeah, very good point. Yes, and they got along so well.
Yeah,
that was a great teaming. So I hope that he outruns his odds. I mean, he hasn't done a whole lot wrong yet. I think he definitely deserved a chance to run at this level, to test himself at this distance, everything else. It's a step up. Don't get me wrong. He's got to improve a whole lot to be able to go with the others here. But stranger things happen on Queen's Plate Day.
And I think one point I want to make, we mentioned the Cassie runners very briefly, but obviously, Dawn, you gave Surf Assure out in the paddock for everybody in the plate trial. So you mentioned Huntmaster, but what are your thoughts on Surf Assure in this spot?
I'm looking forward to seeing him come into the walking ring, to be quite honest, because I did see a video of him where I wasn't seeing the same robust, really impressive horse that I saw that day that he walked in for the plate trial. Sometimes horses, they will lose weight after a race. I mean, it's just natural. It's a really big exertion for them. That's why they don't run every day. That's why they don't run once a week. They usually take between, 3 weeks is about what horses run these days. Recovery time is so important. So I'll be curious to see if he matches what I saw that first time when I get to see him today, because I was seeing him a little bit drawn up. You want them to carry their weight between races. It's very important, especially in a race going a mile and a quarter.
All right. We're going to get a little more insight here and a little bit of perspective from our next guest who's coming up momentarily. Right now, let's take a look at the overhead view. So we'll take another shot here at the view through the grandstand at the finish line. And this is the countdown here with 28 minutes to go until the Queen's Plate. The horses will soon be entering the saddling enclosure and then go outside, and ultimately we'll make the trip down to the racetrack here and get ready to enter the gate for the Queen's Plate. And as promised, we would have more insight and more perspective. Look who it is.
Oh my God, my buddies. Dan, how are you? Welcome back.
Don't really need an introduction. I introduce you. You don't really need the introduction.
So I'm partial to Dawn, so I'm just going to be really close to her for a whole minute.
Will.
That's not creepy. But...
It's Will Wong.
Love you. Happy Plate Day, guys.
Oh, happy Plate Day. You're like, why did we not get glasses?
No, what's up with that? I know those weren't given out. Those look too fancy.
These just sort of went with the shirt. There's a lot of yellow in this, and hopefully I got it right. Fashion's a big part of Queen's Plate. So the first thing my mom said when she looked at me today, she was like, I think that's a bit too much. I'm like, Mom, it's the Queen's Plate.
Mom, what's wrong with you? You can't do too much on Queen's Plate Day.
That's right.
No.
Exactly.
Will, there have not been this many people at Queen's Plate in several years, obviously, due to COVID. when I saw the people coming in this morning, it wasn't that they were just dressed up and, they were like, all right, we're going to an event where we dress up. There was like genuine excitement. Everybody wanted to take their photo in front of the step and repeat, the flowers, the hashtag QP22.
Exactly it.
You're feeling that excitement, right? It's a different kind of thing. It's not just a fashion event. It is the place to be right now after being deprived from it for so long.
Absolutely. I mean, we've been chatting for the last couple of Queen's Plate. You know how eerie it's been here without spectators here. Now that they're back, it's just that buzz is back, and I'm loving it. I'm here for it.
That's awesome. I also know that you're here for photos, so you're
Absolutely.
here to take pictures. I want to know, in your rounds that you've been doing, which horses stand out, and then ultimately you're here to watch some races.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much you bet or if you bet at all, but I think you have a pretty good sense about who the real contenders are.
Well, absolutely. I'm here for the Moira show. I don't know about you guys, but she puts on a little spectacle usually in the walking ring. So if she's on her best behavior today, we're in good luck. We've seen
Pure sassy.
she kicked her blacksmith.
I know.
In the hand.
That was
in
so
his arm.
rude.
But it was very rude. But I mean, she's got the goods to back it up. So I'm all for Team Crazy.
Who's going to volunteer to get kicked by Moira today so
Not
that
me,
she
I
goes
don't know.
out
I'm
and wins
getting out of
by
here.
10 lengths again? No.
Yeah, but I'm also Team Rondura. I got the chance to go visit him on the backstretch before the race. They were so kind to let me come say hi. He's cool and calm as a cucumber. He was really on high alert early. Obviously, he knows today's a work day. He's here to work, but he was super calm. He looks amazing. I sent a little video clip to my brother. He asked me how Rondura, what his chances were like, and I sent him that. I think that gave him a bit of confidence. He looks really good. So Rondura or Moira, I'll be super happy. But in the famous words of Eurico da Silva, good luck to everybody.
And Dan, you might not know, Will was just at Saratoga, and
Yes,
he
I
got
was.
a picture of Nest.
Oh my God, I love her.
Famous filly Nest from
Nest.
the
I got to meet
Fletcher barn.
Malathat. Clariere. Life is good. I got to meet all the big ones, and I'm just like, I'm still starstruck. Am I glowing from that Saratoga
You're
Springs
glowing. You
water?
have a glow.
Glowing, right?
I know.
It's not just being started. It was just
Did you
something
bathe
in the
it
water.
or just spritz?
I'll do anything but drink it. That spring looks scary.
I love you, Saratoga.
We know it's a work day for you too, but drink this.
Oh, sure.
This is compliments of Stella
Stella
Artois.
I love it.
So drink that. And the only reason I'm asking you to drink is
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
feel like you guys have taken over. Like I could leave. Like
No,
it's
you're
just the two of you,
you are
right?
you are a part of us. Come,
Well,
let's
there
do this group hug.
there we go.
Ah.
I needed that.
They know about the Stella Artois Lounge, the terrace, how amazing it is. And if you ever come to Woodbine, third floor, it's just the most scenic thing. We've had athletes come visit, celebrities come visit. That's the place to be. Just it's booming, it's buzzing. The DJ's playing, top 40 hits. It's like the place to be. It's just absolutely cannot highly recommend it enough. But definitely come check it out if you ever come to Woodbine.
Do they have
Stella
vegan?
Artois.
I bet you they have something
You know what?
vegan.
I'm sure
I bet you they do.
Dawn, you're Dawn Lupul. You can get anything you want here. Honestly, like, come on, don't make it happen, Dawn. Trust me.
Stop it.
Well, we have hundreds of people watching right now.
Yeah.
Not yet thousands, but soon to be thousands.
Soon to be.
And I know you didn't come on just to tell them that the top two favorites in this race are going to run well. I know you've got a long shot for us, so go ahead and share with us the long shot.
You can't bet against Kazushi Kimura. He is back and he is on fire. Have you seen him just winning everything? So I wouldn't be shocked if he takes it. He's hungry for that race. I know his buddy Daisuke Fukumoto's won this race, so I mean, I'm sure there's a bit of friendly competition going on behind the scenes. He's got to get this race. Rafi is overdue for a Queen's Plate win. So if you're playing from that angle, I mean, there's a story there. But come on, KK, that's our boy.
So the three would be Ironstone that Kazushi Kimura is riding, coming back from injury, riding really well already, like as if he didn't miss any time at all.
So
which
impressive.
Is unbelievable. And then Rafi Hernandez on Moira. Look, it's going to be a real fun race. We talked about the pace potentially with Cause and Mayhem and Ironstone. Are there horses that could benefit from a trip?
Yeah.
I think you're approaching it much more from a physical and talent perspective beyond that, right?
I think in this race, pace is so important. Ironstone, I think he could get away with it on the lead. I mean, that's a tactic I know William Vito Armada's trainer has talked about. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just, if he controls it his way, it could be all his.
Awesome. All right. Well, we know you want to get down to get pictures, so we will let you go. It is amazing to see you, as always. And maybe we catch up later. We catch up for a little post-race hug and drink
that.
after the races.
Stella Artois?
Yeah,
and
if you
cheers.
could, you could chug it on your way down. Go ahead. We're not telling nobody.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
We'll see you soon.
Happy plate.
Bye. Thank you, Will.
Will Wong
Wong.
bring in the energy as always.
You can check out his website, willwong.com.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
just
easy to remember.
photos. I mean, beyond
great
racing,
photos.
We're taking a selfie now, real quick. There we go. Oh, that's beautiful. Will has a lot of photos with various celebrities throughout the year. They come here for the Toronto Film Festival, and then others. It seems like he just knows which cafes they're visiting, and he just kind of happens to be there at the same time.
Yeah, you learn, you get connections, you learn the people in the industry, and they want their celebrities to have photos taken, right? So they'll actually tell. Will is like the nicest paparazzi, non-paparazzi in the world. Like, he's very courteous. I've gone out with him on shoots where he finds people, and I've got to meet some celebrities too, which has
Staked out
been
some
fun.
celebrities with him.
Yeah, he's really good at it. I mean, he's a celebrity hunter. So, but he loves the horses too, and so he went and visited Nest. So he loves the celebrity horses. Maybe probably more than he loves the celebrities.
So did Will mention the prank I played on him yesterday?
He did not.
Okay, so I went into Will's space in the press box, and I made myself at home and took some pictures, some selfies of me in his space. And he found that, it's Will. He found it hilarious. So
Turn the tables on him, sort of.
Of course.
Yeah, I like that.
That's the best.
We're getting our first look at some of the horses here. Moira was the first one we got a glimpse of. Let's just run through the odds briefly here. We'll go full screen on this because we know you want to see some of those horses. The one horse who we mentioned just a moment ago, we showed you a little video on the backstretch, is Hall of Dreams, was 12-1 on the morning line, is now 15-1, so that holds about steady. Big long shot, longest shot on the board, the two horse, Shamateur, 46-1, up from 30-1 on the morning line. Ironstone also up from the morning line, 18-1, up from that 12-1 morning line. The 4, the Minkster, who interestingly went into the plate trial as the favorite, is 14-1. That's fascinating. I mean, are you going to completely give this horse no shot off of one race? Which, by the way, we could talk about this in a little bit. The Minkster did not have an ideal trip there. Was wide into the first turn, was wide all the way around, did not have things his way, and is now 14-1 off a 10-1 morning line, and previously the favorite in the play trial. The 5 horse is Duke of Love, who I love quite a bit. My racehorse does as well. 5-1 now, up to 9-1. Rondura, 3-1, same as the morning line. So not taking any extra special play at this moment. Might get bet down a bit as we get closer. The 7, Dancing in Denial, 29-1. The 8, Moira, as expected, your favorite right now at 6-5. The 9, Huntmaster, who Dawn has had some nice things to say about, is 32-1. So right there around the morning line. The 10, Sir for Sure, 16-1. I guess the plate trial win, some people looking at that maybe as a little flukish. And to the point you made, if they've gotten a look at the horse, maybe they're not as interested in him as they were previously, because maybe before they thought, well, hey, he's coming into this race looking to, in good shape and physically, as you mentioned a couple of weeks back when that race was run. You like the way he looked, maybe not so much today. And then Causing Mayhem on the outside, the other speed horse at 13-1.
I think the biggest difference we saw when we were looking at the indoor paddock is we actually saw Moira get saddled inside today, which is different than on Oaks Day when they saddled her outside on her own. So that's a big difference as now they move from the indoor paddock to the outdoor paddock. I think one of the other things that we, hopefully we'll get a good look, as Dawn said, with Sure for Sure. I think Duke of Love looks phenomenal right now based on my very early look. So hopefully we get another look at Duke of Love, because obviously for the My Racehorse fans out there, 9-1 is a very sweet price on, I almost have made fun of it to this point, but a very, very talented horse who just has to figure out a couple things. And then this horse could honestly be a world beater. Just that lead change is a struggle, and running straight in the stretch has been a struggle, keeping that head straight and actually keeping a straight course. So I know Justin Stein's been working with the horse. I know in the morning they've been working with the horse. It's just going to be showtime today. This is going to be the biggest stage, and can the horse step up? That's going to be a big question.
Comments coming in from viewers. We encourage you to drop your picks and selections and predictions in the comments. Nigel here likes Hall of Dreams or Moira, not looking any further. Marilyn, we wish you were here too. Hopefully we're bringing you a little bit of happiness being here and trying to share the experience here with you. But Marilyn, maybe next year you'll come out. Gene, 10, Sir for Sure wins. So looking for that momentum to continue for Surf for Sure. Let's see. TBL 4R1. The 9 is under bet. Win, play, show, and then a box on 6, 9, 10. Alejandro sharing some picks. People getting in with the selections. Let us know who you like. Drop them in the comments. Dawn, a couple of people here really like Huntmaster, who you've already sung the praises of. What do you think? I mean, are you going to use this horse on your tickets?
It would be like if I were playing a trifecta, so I would put him in like the third slot.
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't think he can threaten the top two, but you never know. He's a developing horse, but he's got a long way to come. So I'm a little concerned about that. Moira, I think, continues to be overbet. I think 6-5. I think that is just a little bit too short. I do like her. She is my pick. Would I bet her to win at 6-5? No, not in a million years. I just don't think there's enough reward for the risk involved in that. As JD was saying, we did see her saddled in the protective saddling enclosure, which is inside of the paddock. She looked fine. She's happy. So that's a good thing, as they get closer to post time. She's just got attitude. And, that's most of the good fillies do have some attitude. So there's some big prices on the board. I think, obviously, because Moira is taking a little bit too much money right now.
I will say, I think Moira looks better than when we saw Moira School on Friday in the paddock. I think Moira's head was all over the place, really didn't want to be there, and seems to be happy and ready to race today. I think this may be the best we've seen Moira act pre-race so far, but we're still 15 minutes to post, so we'll see. But one thing I want to mention here is, a lot of times in these big races, we have a lot of fans maybe here for the first time, maybe here once time a year, so they bet hot connections, hot jockeys, that sort of thing. I'm very interested to see that Ironstone is actually above morning line at 18-1 right now with leading rider Kazuchi Kimura up. Yep. And Declan Carroll has been absolutely on fire this weekend, especially today. So seeing Surf for Sure off of the 8-1 morning line drift all the way up to 14-1 right now. Two interesting stories because I feel like those go against what we normally see on race day. On a big race, a big stakes day. Obviously, a lot of girl power going towards Moira. That's expected in this race. 6-5, a little short. 5-2 morning line, 2-1. That's kind of where I think fair odds where I'd place a win bet on Moira. I think 6-5 is a little short for me.
Jackson here is hoping, as you are, that Duke of Love will figure things out today. He thinks Duke of Love will settle 3 lanes back from a hot pace, make a move. He really has given us the whole step-by-step what's going to happen right here, and thinks that he can win the race. Scott P., Duke of Love, loves the price, 9-1. Give it to me all day. Hank asks, is this going to get shut off when the race starts? It is not going to get shut off when the race starts. We are here. We are taking you all the way through the Queen's Plate. Hang out, grab a drink, chill. We're here. We're not going anywhere.
As long as there's oysters left.
Yeah, where do they go?
We're
Where
here.
They were underwater.
Okay. Cauliflower. I like that name. We actually have some cauliflower, don't we?
Yeah, cauliflower. Yeah.
Take a bite. Exacta. 6'8" with 5'6", 8'11". I like that boy. Jonathan, yes, you will be able to watch the races here. Look, keep dropping your picks and predictions in the comments. Duke of Love, obviously, we both have an interest in. Moira, we're interested in. If there's one horse who's going to flop, who's just not going to run a big race, is it Moira or is it Rondura? What do you think?
That's a tough call. I mean, they're both so talented. I don't see either of them flopping. I guess to me, the biggest risk might be with Rondura, just because, to me, he's always looked, again, we talked about horses that are boxy and maybe look more suited to sprinting. He kind of has that physique to him. It's not a hard and fast rule. There are no hard and fast rules in racing. Just remember that there are, kind of tendencies, and that's the way we look. You have to be nimble. You got to be quick. I guess if I were to pick one, but I think they'll both run their race. I'm expecting a big race from both of them.
Yeah, I think one of the things we can mention, as I was able to spend some time with Katerina Vasilieva yesterday, is she mentioned, a lot of trainers for this race get asked about the extra distance and can the horse cover the distance. And she gave an honest opinion, which it may show from, her first time being in this race, but she said, I think every horse is a question mark in terms of can they get the distance until we see them do it. I mean, you can look at Pedigree Lines all day, but until they actually get it done on the track, you never know. So that is one thing to keep in mind here, and that's why, taking 6-5 on a horse, doing something for the first time, going against Boyce for the first time is tough, even though that is a horse that I feel like is the best horse in this race. So, Rondura, a good bet at 5-2 maybe is what I'm leaning into, but I don't know. I think they're going to get similar trips, and that's one of the things that when we were trying to figure out tickets for this race and things to include, it's like with two short prices that we think are going to get similar trips, you have to use one or the other. And we've been leaning towards Moira. Moira, obviously, with the 5-pound weight allowance as well as factored in. But, they seem to be the top two betting choices. So it's going to be tough to see because they could be side by side the entirety of this track.
Here's what's fascinating. Rondura is 5-2. 2 races ago, he lost to a horse named the Minkster.
Yeah.
The Minkster is 14-1. Someone needs to explain this to me. I'm going to take a moment, take a deep breath. I'm going to let you guys think about an explanation. And I want to look at the stretch run of the Queenston. Let's take a look at how it happened 2 races back.
The Minkster's in front. Ironstone looking for room on the inside. His time. Duke of Love the outer. Down the outside is Rondura starting a run. The Minkster's got the lead. And down the outside, Rondura battling away Ironstone and Duke of Love. The Minkster in front. Ironstone coming on. And down the outside, Rondura. It's still the Minkster. Now Ironstone pushing on with Rondura. The Minkster down to the wire. And the Minkster's in a photo from Rondura out wide. And also Ironstone. A 3-way battle to the wire with Duke of Love.
Yeah, 14-1. Go ahead, JD.
Well, I was going to say how parimutuel wagering works, Dan, is that they have bet more money into the pool on Rondura than they have on the Minkster.
That's how it happened.
I've got, you know what it is? 7 words. What have you done for me lately? It's the old, you're as good as your last race, and that's just kind of how it works in this game. So people will look at the line of the Minkster. He did not have an ideal trip. I saw jockey Davey Moran right after the race virtually, and he just shook his head and he said, we tried something different with him. We wanted to see if he would, we kind of tried to wrestle him back a little bit. Sometimes when you try to change a horse's running style, the horse says, no, that's not me. So I think I don't think he joins the pace, but I think he'll be trying to free run as much as possible. I think Davey's going to try to stay out of his mouth and just keep the horse relaxed and running free. Same as Duke of Love had a terrible trip. He was balled right up. Justin Stein, I saw him right after the plate trial too, and he said, well, if it was going to happen, it's better that it happened now and not for the plate. He said he'll be better in the plate than he was today. So that could be good for you with Duke of Love.
It could be. And one thing we'll mention, Rondura, obviously 7 weeks off, has had a few works, and really what trainer Katerina Vasileva was saying is didn't really care about the time of the works, and I think was actually upset because there's a bullet there. I don't think that was the plan. I think it was just keeping fitness on the horse. So we'll see how fit Rondura is. But yeah, it's kind of the funny, you mentioned, Dawn, what have you done for me lately? But really, at the end of the day, you're taking a horse that actually ran and had some trouble versus a horse that just hasn't ran. And that's where it is a bit of a puzzling mutual odds discrepancy.
I mean, yes, there's definitely some recency bias. And, we have the last time we saw Rondura, we have a great memory of the horse, drawing away and just absolutely annihilating the field in the Marine Stakes. And it wasn't so for the Minkster. But again, looking at that trip, I wasn't necessarily discouraged by the way he finished. And if this was the ultimate goal, there's also the whole projecting what trainers are trying to do. Did they want him to be absolutely 100% cranked up to win that race, knowing that ultimately the Queen's Plate was the target? Looking at a couple of other long shots here that we haven't spoken much about. Shamateur, should we be looking at the 2-horse any more seriously than we have so far? You could just say no if you don't think so.
You mentioned the name, so I think that covers it.
Okay.
Oh,
is that all we want to say?
You get Siditard, who certainly can train a horse. There's no doubt about that. You get Luis Contreras, who has won this race before.
Yep.
So the connections are there. I don't think he is, quite at that level yet. Maybe with a big upset, maybe. But we'll get a chance to see them here. And keep an eye on the 11 Causing Mayhem, because he really caught my eye. I think he's the one that looks the best today, but we'll see.
I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for the one who caught your eye. So the 11 Causing Mayhem has caught your eye.
Well, we'll have to get there. So we're getting it looked at Hall of Dreams right now, and he's looking fine. Patrick Husbands just won the last race, so why not? Here's Shama Tour. He's cute.
Yeah, so he's cute. Okay, so we've
Aw.
said his name and he's cute. Okay, those are the two things we're going with for me.
Love it. Well, that's enough. Ironstone, he's a really nice looking horse. Look at the tail on him, that gray half a tail. Love that. This horse is all speed, though. I don't see him getting the distance. A little worried about the distance. The Minkster, I'm actually a little worried about the distance, too, I have to say. I'm not sure about this
You
distance
are worried
for
about
him.
the distance with the Minkster.
With the Minkster, I am a little bit. Yeah.
Do you have any concerns with Duke of Love? I mean, Duke of Love is
No.
just
No.
okay. Yep.
I have more concerns with his mind, that he's going to finally mature and be a real nice horse.
So we're looking at Rondura right now, obviously, who is at this moment. If I could, I'm going to pull this down so you can get a better look at the odds here. Dancing Denial is one we haven't talked about. Any interest in that one?
I bet the horse on debut, and the horse won.
Okay.
And it's not been a whole lot positive, you could say, past that. But I will say this horse does seem like a horse that can be close to the pace. So we've seen crazier things happen in the Queen's Plate when, you could see, a horse sitting in third or fourth just make that one run and get up for the wires. So based on the running style, I think Dancing in Denial could be fourth or fifth in this race. I wouldn't be surprised if I see that. But as a win candidate, I'm not a fan.
I think Moira went through. She looked relaxed. To me, Huntmaster, I think he's going to be a better turf horse, so we'll see if he goes in that direction. Sir, for sure, you know what? He'll run all day. I mean, this horse could go 5 miles and he'd still be running. He's just got that long physical build to him. So distance-wise, he's suited. But, yeah, there is a good-looking Pletcher colt right there. He's very light in experience, and I think that works against him. The post position isn't his friend either. So he's got some things to overcome.
He's got to make an early move. He's got to get over.
In terms of potential, that's perhaps the most untapped yet. He might fit the bill.
Okay.
And I think the other thing I'll mention there is that, people, we obviously have a lot of people normally following horse racing in the States, and they think Todd Pletcher. Todd Pletcher has actually won this race before, so it's not crazy to have an Ontario bred here with a shot. Again, I mean, from the 11 hole, they're going to gun to the front, and we'll see how far that speed can take them.
Could be a long way. A long way.
Is that?
Could be a long way. You never know.
Yeah. Comments coming in. Miller time. Moira for the win. Hands down. Why are we even wasting our time? Hands down. Moira wins. Jackson makes a good point here. 10 furlongs will separate the true contenders. There will be some horses who will be backing up because that distance is not made for them. Miller also wanted to reinforce she's a freak of nature, Moira. So we will find that out today, probably here momentarily. Dawn, I will not put this up so as not to, make you blush or anything. I'll leave that comment off to the side for now.
Is it nice?
It is nice, but it's also somewhat controversial. So,
okay.
So I'll leave it out for now.
But thank you.
Yeah. Kali, you know what you wrote. So Jackson thinks that Minkster is distance limited. So we'll see. I think that's, to your point. Jonathan, yes, we will be showing you the race here live coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Don't go anywhere. Do not change the dial.
Hang tight. Susan, Moira for the win, then Sir for sure. Trifecta box, 5, 6, 8, 10. So I kind of like this. I think that takes into account most of your analysis, and it does not take into account the 11, who now I'm kind of worried. I don't have any tickets for the 11 causing mayhem. Maybe now I want to play a ticket with the 11.
I don't. It's a lot to ask.
Tell me I should bet more.
He's making just his 4th lifetime start.
So I should bet.
You're
saying I should do it.
Well, he's 13-1. I wouldn't talk you out of it, but I think he's got a lot to do, and it depends on how hard he's pushed early. Can he continue to improve if he gets into a battle today? And the answer is probably no.
I think the 11 is definitely a need the lead type, and we saw pretty soft fractions in the plate trial. Wasn't able to keep it all the way around the course. Has to go an extra furlong today. That's my concern there. So talking about ticket construction, I'm maybe taking this a bit in one direction here, but I have some very simple exacta and trifectas that I have played and have tickets in my pocket. I won't show them, but trust me, they're real. I just have a straight 8-10 exacta.
Okay.
And I have 8-10 with 3-4 as a trifecta. So basically just keep it simple and play some larger denominations. That's where I feel like I can derive the most value from a wagering purpose here. I don't have a win bet in this race, and I'm not seeing anything on the board that entices me to make a win bet.
We have actually a trainer appearance here. Tard is right there alongside Mike Doyle. So
right.
I will no longer say anything.
Yeah, watch what you say, JD.
About Shamateur.
Watch it down there. Grab some more brie. Alejandro with a trifecta pick here. Lots of picks and analysis coming in. I'm going to put in a quick play myself. I'm going to open it up and just, I don't know, I'm just going to go with my gut here. I'm going to throw $60 in and make a couple of bets. Dawn, if you had $60, what would you bet?
How would I play this race? I would probably key Moira on top and under. What are you playing, exactas?
I'm going to do a try key or a try key box if you think that Moira is beatable.
Well, I'd play her on top of probably the the 6, 8, 10, 11.
So 8 with 6, 10, 11.
6, 8, 10. Sorry, 6, 10, 11. Yeah.
6, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Let me see.
And then throw her underneath too. So 6, 10, 11 on top of.
Cool. Yeah.
Whereas if I had $60 and I have a very similar ticket in my pocket, I would just play an 8-10 exacta.
Okay. I've got to throw
First
Duke of
or
Love
straight?
in. I'm
Straight.
not
Straight
doing
up.
this. All right. So here's
Ice
what I'm
cold.
doing.
Ice cold for
Ice
Dave
cold
Weaver.
exacta.
I'm going to do a $36 bet. I'm going to do 8 with 5, 6, 10, 11. I could not leave. But you're saying don't use Mingster?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm not going to sit here and talk
I have
you off.
Mingster for third in my trifecta
Oh,
that I
man.
have.
So do I need to use Mingster too?
I think so.
All right. I'm throwing the Mingster in. Heck. We're
some
throwing
more
the
money
Mingster.
in there.
Throw all the horses
Now we're
in,
at
Dan. It's
$60.
fine.
Here we go. All right. Let's
He's
see what happens.
legit betting. This is
going in.
real-time betting, people.
$60. And if I lose, you guys got dinner. So it's a good deal all around.
I got you a nice
That's all you got
charcuterie
me.
board.
We've got just a couple of minutes now. Horses circling in front of the gate. They'll be going into the gate here momentarily. It's been a lot of fun. This has been really good.
Yeah, and one thing I'll mention, because there still is time, this is the start of a $250,000 guaranteed pick 4 in this sequence. So I will be completely frank and honest and say that the rest of this card is very, very tough. I will say that race 13 is the only race that is off the turf on this card. So it is a $15,000 maiden claimer for turf horses that are going to be running on the synthetic. So just keep that in mind as you do your handicapping. But $250,000 guaranteed pool here in the pick 4, and we're seeing nudging towards that guarantee as we approach the starting gate for the 162nd Queen's Plate.
It's amazing how quiet it got. It's like people are just kind of, it's like the calm before the storm, because this place is going to erupt and be unbelievably crazy in just a few moments. But I mean, the place is full. It's not like everybody rushed in to go to the windows. You can bet from your phones and stuff.
But you know what it is? That hush, that quiet is people looking at their tickets, being like, okay, what did I bet? What did I bet? And they're just like not saying anything. They're trying to remember so that they could watch the race without continually looking up and down. So they're trying to memorize their bets. I know that I usually do because I'm like, I've got 10,000 bets and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But the best way to do it, I think, JD, to the point you were making, focus in on like 2 horses. You can bet an exacta. When you start getting a little crazy and start throwing all the horses in, like I just did with that ticket, I'm going to have to reference that ticket every 2 seconds. I have like so many horses on that ticket.
And it gets pricey. And then you leave something out you think you should have had,
Still people commenting with, and this comment here I think is best of all, safe trip, all home safely, best horses win. Kevin,
100%.
Well put there.
100%, Kevin.
Let's go Ironstone. We got someone rooting for Huntmaster. And you remember I said earlier that I miss my mom and I wish she was on? My mom is checked in.
Oh.
Say hi to her. Melanie, say hi to her.
Hi, Melanie. he's not had too many beers today.
No. It's all brie. She's actually in France right now. So like my parents don't travel. I know this sounds like my parents. Like, what are your parents doing?
They're like all over the place.
They never travel. And it just so happens at this particular moment, my mom is in France and my dad is in Morocco, which is crazy.
And you're in Canada.
And I'm in Canada.
Look at you go.
It's amazing.
You got the best deal.
I think so. So the horses now, again, behind the gate. We're just moments away, and we're going to show you the Queen's Plate live here on Woodbine Live. This has been our Queen's Plate preview show. Your favorite moment of the show so far?
My favorite moment was probably I had to do something with the oyster eating, I would think, because it was just so random. I mean, when I said, "Are you guys going to eat an oyster on air?" I mean, you could have just said no because it's gross. It's going to be everywhere, but you did it anyways. You owned it, and I like it.
That's what it's all about.
And Dawn is lemon fresh now because of your squirting of the lemon. So, but
True story.
the other thing I will say, and I'll knock on this table that is definitely not wood. We haven't seen a single drop of rain.
Single drop, we have not. And it was supposed to rain all day today.
It was supposed to rain all day today, and the skies are cloudy and overcast, but we're seeing planes not divert from Pearson, which normally happens if there's a thunderstorm in the area, and we're loading close to we're a little over post time, but we expected this drag as we see in every stakes race, and the fans have come alive.
Fans are coming alive. 3-2 on Moira right now, so her odds have drifted up, but still a little low. We were still saying 2-1 was, probably the cutoff. So you bet at 3-2, you're getting $5 back for every $2 that you bet. Some people might think that's value. I think it's still a little bit low.
So these are the odds. You're looking at Hall of Dreams go into the gate for the Queen's Plate. He's 14-1. The 2 horse again, we mentioned big long shot. Shamator 52-1. The 3 Ironstone 19-1. 4 the Minkster 13-1. 5 Duke of Love 12-1. So that my racehorse money didn't come in too hard. The horse is 12-1 off of a 5-1 morning line. The 6 Rondura closing ground on the 8 Moira for favoritism here. The 7 Dancing in Denial 42-1. The 9 Huntmaster 52-1. The 10 Surf for Shore 14-1. And the 11 Cause and Mayhem 14-1. I expect Cause and Mayhem to come right out of the gate, gun it for the lead, and come up right alongside Ironstone. And from there, it's anyone's guess at how fast they go and who might potentially benefit from that. But I do think, there are a couple of horses who have enough speed to get close. My final pick here, I'm going to go with Duke of Love as my selection. Dawn?
I'm taking Moira, so I've been touting all week. But just a little shout out for the Minkster because he really looked good at going into the gate. So
oh no, don't tell me that now.
Oh wait, did I talk you off of that? I'm sorry. I still don't know that he can get the distance, but he does look good.
JD, last word.
Moira, and they had a lot of gates, and Rafi won a gate 8, and I feel like he knows what trip he needs for this horse. So Moira 8-5 now. That's closer to a win bet candidate that I would look at.
All right, we're going to
do 9-5. We might have co-favorites.
Yeah, co-favorites. Let's throw it up to Robert Geller.
Was a Mayhem. Stand by for a start. They're all in, locked up, and they're off. And one of the best into stride is Dancing in Denial and Surf Ashore. Away well the Minkster and Rondura and Ironstone on the inside. Right behind them in the early part is Cause and Mayhem, deep on the track from Huntmaster. Duke of Love the rail. Moira's back third last from Hall of Dreams and Shamateur. The Minkster's in front. Ironstone on the inside second. Racing third, Surf Ashore. Caught wide here, Cause and Mayhem. In the centre, Rondura has a perfect spot for Flavian Pratt. On the outside, Huntmaster, and climbing up the rails there is Duke of Love as they're bunched up. Right behind them is the filly Moira from Dancing in Denial. Hall of Dreams is second last, and last is Shamateur. There's only about 5 lengths first to last. And showing the way in the Queen's Plate, the Minkster races out in front nicely for David Moran. Got away by 2 lengths. Ironstone second.
All right, we're going to give you a little bit of background here, a little bit of analysis, since the track audio is apparently not coming in. So we'll kind of let you know what's happening. The Minkster is on the lead. This is a little surprising. I think we all expected Ironstone and Cause and Mayhem to get to the front.
To make the run. The Minkster racing out by a length. Ironstone tagging in second. They've broken away 4 lengths. Surf Ashore in third, Cause and Mayhem on the outside. Here comes Rondura splitting horses, and Duke of Love the inside. And now the filly hooks to the outside in Moira, and she's 6 off the lead. A gap to Hall of Dreams, Huntmaster, Dancing in Denial, and Shamateur. Kazushi Kimura on Ironstone, racing to the Minkster as they come down to the final quarter in the Queen's Plate. The Minkster, Ironstone, and here comes the filly, Moira, and she's exploding down the outside, and in the blink of an eye has raced to the front, and it's Moira out in the lead 2 lengths. Racing home is Hall of Dreams down the outside, but the mighty filly has devastated them, and the 163rd Queen's Plate is a big win for Moira. She is stunning, wins 6 lengths. Hall of Dreams second, Surfer Shore third, Ironstone fourth, Dancing to Nail fifth, then Rondura, Huntmaster, Duke of Love, the Minkster, Cause of Mayhem, and Shumater.
Wow. I have goosebumps. I don't easily get goosebumps.
If that time is right, that's a track. That's a distance record for this race. It was
Wow.
2:01:51, and they just went 2:01:48. So
Wow.
we may have just seen history right now. I have a tear in my eye. That was amazing.
I don't often get goosebumps. I literally got goosebumps watching that. That move Moira made was just breathtaking. That was like they were standing still. I mean, she totally just swept by all of them and just took off.
I contradicted myself in our own talk back here. In a 15-second span, I said, boy, does Moira have a lot of work to do. And then all of a sudden, she looked like she couldn't lose. And if that time is correct, as Dawn said, that would be a track record for the distance. And they've ran a lot of races at this distance on this track. And that is as impressive of a performance as I've seen in a long time. Hall of Dreams, just a solid effort running in second there. Was much the best of the rest, was the best colt in the race. But Moira just hands down, I mean, was asked a little bit down the stretch, but you could see Raffi just with a hand ride would have easily beat the rest of this field.
Just for some relevance, it's not like they run a lot of mile and a quarter races here, but there are enough. There's a Queen's Plate every year. That track record was established in 2013. So it's been some time, and man, she destroyed them. That wasn't even a fair fight. Moira, what'd you do to those poor boys?
That's unbelievable. You actually had tears in your eyes. I'm seeing actual tears.
I did.
It's amazing.
That was you see performances like that, and they just stick with you. That was incredible. I'd say Raffi Hernandez made the right choice because I don't even know where Rondura was.
Yeah,
you talked
Where's
about it.
Rondura?
He didn't show up today at all. Hall of Dreams, we're at a big race.
Well, I asked you the question. I said, if it's one of the two of them that doesn't show up, which will it be? You actually said Rondura, so you were right there again. Go Philly. Sherry hit her pick 5. Interested to see what that pays. The single to Moira. I know you wanted a single hour ticket to Moira. I talked a bunch of nonsense about Duke of Love, who was nowhere. Hall of Dreams, as you mentioned, ran a really good race. Surfer Shore, kind of proving the naysayers wrong. Like, all right, you don't want to bet me. You want me to go up at 17-1 again? Sure. I'll run another big race and finish third here. Really, in what was essentially a one-horse race.
Yeah, to the point where I want to mention to everybody, Prince of Wales next on the dirt. The Sire and the Dam both won on dirt for Moira. So
that's good. That's
good stuff there.
That is good intel moving forward. And Ironstone, I thought, had a really nice trip. Was kind of just sitting behind them, letting them go at it. The Minkster, I don't see how fast. Did you see? Yeah, 23-3, 47-2, 111 and change. Went honest enough.
It was honest.
Yeah.
It was definitely honest. Just an unbelievable run for Moira. There was enough pace for her to chase. I agree. The Ironstone had his kind of trip. He was able to relax, which we didn't expect to see. Cause and Mayhem got the worst of it.
We knew right away he was.
It just wasn't going to work out for him. And I mean, there's just not enough words on what she just did to this group and to set a track record. How good is she? And for anybody who doesn't know, the Canadian Triple Crown. You just mentioned it, JD. It's run here on the synthetic at Woodbine, and then it goes to Fort Erie on the dirt, and the third leg is back here at Woodbine on the AP Taylor turf course. So not only is it an almost impossible feat, but you have to win on 3 different racing surfaces, which is just unbelievable. There have been fillies that have done this. Rafael Hernandez, when he selected to ride Moira, he said she could be in the same vein as Dance Smartly, which is like a regal name in Canadian racing. I think he might be right.
We have a lot of really sort of people who are just absolutely amazed and marveling in the comments at what Moira just did. This next comment that I'm going to pop up, I think, is maybe slightly ambitious, but I love the thought. Breeders' Cup Classic. Who knows?
Girl.
If she wins the next few races by 50 lengths combined, maybe we have a super horse on our hands. Kevin says broke the track record. Very nice burst of speed. By 10, ran very honestly third. That's absolutely true. We haven't confirmed this, but Rondura 6, that seems about right. I didn't see Rondura at any point being ultra competitive. And really, you just kind of, I guess you essentially have to throw out the Marine Stakes because everything out of that race was, not so great. And the applause here coming back here for Moira.
Standing applause. People are actually on their feet to
That's
give this filly her
spectacular.
due. It'll be interesting to see how she reacts because remember in her last race, the Oaks, she deposited Raffy. She stood for pictures for as long as she chose. As soon as she was done with him, she sent him flying, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, Raffy almost met the bushes that day, and we'll be seeing what happens here. But just so proud of this filly, and you can see that they're growing into having a very special relationship. He's always described her more as energetic than quirky. So he just thinks she has a lot of energy on race day. She's, what Kevin Attard said is she's always very quiet in the barn, just energetic when she gets to the racetrack. And I think that's one thing we can say about Woodbine as opposed to other racetracks is kind of the backside and the training track and all the options there. So really the horses, when they hit the main track, that's a different mode for them as opposed to some racetracks where you're training over the main track. This is a case where, we marvel and talk to everybody about Woodbine. Like, how do you walk from the backside to the main track? It's a long way. It's a separate world out there. And that just comes to show with what they've built up here. And Jim Lawson talked about the acreage and all they can do here. But, the dirt training track, the sand track, the pasture, all the things they have on the backside, it helps these trainers train these horses into exceptional performances. And we saw one today.
Do you know who this is with the Fascinator? Do you know who that is with the Fascinator bringing the horse in?
I'm not sure. I'm sure it's.
I want to give her a lot of credit for maintaining, staying fashionable.
For looking that good, through all of this. Congratulations to trainer Kevin Attard, from the very famous Attard family.
The curse is over, Dawn.
Gets what?
The trainer curse is over.
The trainer curse is over.
Because they had only won the horse. They would only run the race as a jockey in the family. So now they finally, as a family, have their first Queen's Plate.
Yeah, Larry Attard, of course, a very, very accomplished jockey back in the day. So strong Maltese family. You got to love an Attard. You meet an Attard, you love an Attard. They're all amazing people.
Rafi Hernandez, we actually were watching a video earlier where he was in tears talking about riding in the Queen's Plate, what this race means, what it means to just be in this position. And you got to be so happy for him. And a couple of the comments here, obviously, a lot of people celebrating their personal bets that they won. Alejandro hit the trifecta. Nigel, we'll give you credit, man. You did drop this in the comments earlier. Moira and Hole of Dreams. So props to you.
Yep.
And look, Paul also wants to see some Breeders' Cup. Says Nest, look out. So maybe it's a lesson. The distaff. Maybe the distaff is the target for Paul. Which again, long way between here and there, but it's a fun thought.
That was the shortest winner's circle appearance I've seen in a long time.
That's Moira. Don't test
like, get
Moira.
her out of
She's
here.
like,
one pick.
I've done my work, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Leave me alone.
One picture, everybody out of here. Get out.
Yeah.
There's Jim Lawson, of course, with the Lieutenant Governor, Elizabeth Doswell. So beautiful presentation happening in the winner's circle.
That's great. That's absolutely great. What a day. What a day.
That was amazing. That was some great racing. We got to see 2 races on the turf. Got to see this race on the synthetic track. We got to see a phenomenal filly. Got to see a track record. What else do you want?
No,
I could have worn blue and we would have been complete.
It's the only thing missing.
Trifecta.
JD, final thoughts?
Looking at the mutual payouts, I'll take a $200 flat, $1 trifecta here, 8-1-10. If you excluded Hall of Dreams, 8-10-3 was something I had, so I just missed out. And I saw Hall of Dreams, who was so professional and just so charming yesterday, and I didn't make that leap. So, but we look at the mutual payouts right now. The pick 5 for $1. Sherry,
$2,000.
So if she bet the 20, she bet the 20-cent increment of that. Still a nice $400
still
score.
$400.
There you see another of the famous Attards. There's Tino Attard on the left in the white suit jacket, getting everybody into the picture. I'm sure every atard that's ever those people out there, even the ones in front, those are all atards because there are about a million of them.
That's the family
so
only.
That's the family
Yeah,
picture.
I think there would still be a bigger winner circle there with the Atards than if Duke of Love had won with all the racehorse owners that are here, because the Atard family runs deep on that backstretch, and just hats off to Kevin with a great job and a super filly, and excited to see what's next for Moira.
All right. So as we watch a little bit of the trophy presentation here, it's wind down time. So I just want to thank everyone who joined us today, both at home, on the go, on your cell phones, everywhere else that you've been watching today. This has been a whole lot of fun. And, also obviously want to thank all of our guests who took the time out to be with us today. Will Wong coming up for a quick hit. Sherry.
Who's now rich.
Who we're going to try to hit up for some cash in a few moments. So, Sherry, if you're still watching, look out because we're coming. You're getting us dinner. And then also, we want to thank Jim Lawson and Woodbine for having us out here. None of this would be possible without their support of what we do, which is bringing the racing to you and making you feel like you're connected by being a part of this. And then, of course, the team here at Woodbine, Lindsay Bax, Jamie Dykstra, Mark McElvey, the whole team. Thank you so much for being so supportive and helping us throughout the whole time we've been here, from the second we landed until now. And then, of course, our production team, J.D. Mitchell, Greg Charkoudian. It's just been an absolute blast. And so we hope you'll do this with us again sometime. This is our first
Love
time,
to.
but...
I have one more thank you. I thank the oysters for giving their lives for your enjoyment.
Well, I'll let you know in a couple hours, how we're doing.
You might not be thanking the oysters.
Yeah. But this has been a blast. So for now, for J.D. Fox, for Dawn Lupul, I'm Dan Tordjman. We will see you next time.